Hey everybody, we're in Rome. This is the Capitol Museum, Muse Capitolini. This is a square, it's really cool. Hope this is not getting too blasted out light-wise. Look
Beautiful
at Michelle.
day.
Look at Michelle following the... Look at you. Get you in focus. It is a beautiful day. As you can see, without seeing us all the time, there's a lot of people here. Very busy time here in Rome. That's Paulus III, the dude on the horse. So, the symbol of Rome, something you see a lot of, is this statue right here. And the legend is that those two kids that are suckling from that wolf, Romulus and Remus, were the founders of the Roman culture. So that's a famous statue. And here's the famous Michelle. Look at her, everybody. Let's just take a moment. That is good. That is a good looking woman. And she's fitting in here in Rome. She's all sophisticated, fancy, and I'm old, gray. Okay, this is Circus Maximus. So the original city, ground level for the original city's down, right? You can see as cities get older, they get taller. They stack on, they build on top of one. So that's anytime you come to archaeological site here, it's going to be below ground. But you can see it's just there's literally thousands of things to go look at. Some more ruins. I think that's the Trajan Arch. There's got to be 50 arches in Rome. Every time they did something, they built an arch. The Romans were big on arches. Some fun stuff.
Good.
Okay, we're gonna climb the Spanish Steps. These people are really annoyed that kid is sitting on that seat right there. So many feet that on these are just sloping away. Michelle's always just stopping and doing photography and not telling me where she's at, being generally annoying.
Perché prima sta piazza era piena, io andavo.
It's a workout. There's been so many feet on these steps, there's like a scoop. They're not even close to being flat. So it feels weird when you're climbing them. I'm trying to walk off my lunch. A giant sandwich with raw mozzarella. Sort of. Let's just see how far down there Michelle is, because she's not paying attention. Behaving. There she is, look. There she is. It's like being at a public swimming pool.
Wir wissen, wie das einfach nicht.
These people are doing things they're not supposed to be doing. They're climbing on stuff like idiots. What? More steps? This is truly a lot of steps. These steps are famous for being so many steps. You got your dude selling flowers. Perfect.
I am a kiss.
Now where's she at? Oh, she's actually catching up. Look at her. She's climbing this many steps. She is annoying.
She's very good.
Yeah, you buy some for your wife. Okay, this is going to be hard to get all this in, but I'll try. This is the Pantheon, and it is over 2,000 years old. It was built 110 AD by Hadrian. Wait, dude. That is the Oculus light above is open, so right there in the center is a sort of a dished out area where there's some holes where the water will, and it rains, will run out. And it is a church. We actually waited in line for an hour because they were having Mass. This is Sunday morning, 29th. Oh, kind of fast here. There's a couple of monarchs buried in here. Umberto is here, and then there's another one and his wife over there. Statues are amazing. Somebody over here. That's Raphael. I always wonder if this is where he's buried. So many of the beautiful paintings and statues you see in Rome were Raphael. That's him right there. It's his tomb. Amazing. This is Plaza Nuvona. It's basically set up. They had an arena here where they would fill with water and they would do mock sea battles. I'm sure you probably heard of that in some of this stuff, but this is what they do. And that obelisk that's an Egyptian obelisk. It was brought here from Egypt. And the fountains here are fantasy fountains with characters from mythology. See that one here? There's Michelle. Just all pretty day. Very popular place, really huge church here. It's not open though. There are so many churches. You can get a book that is half an inch thick. It does nothing but talk about all different churches and what's going on with different churches. Nice singing down here. I'm thinking this is pretty cool at night. I just can't get enough of the statuary. But I'm sorry, I don't know who all these characters are. I have a book with me, but it's just, I'm carrying so much junk. I have to do a lot of research and learn more about this stuff. And that's the obelisk. You can see it has hieroglyphs on it. Pretty amazing. I'm sure you're gonna recognize this. This is the Colosseum. He's still working on it. It's the original Colosseum floor. Well, not the original floor, how the floor was. And as you know, they had the gladiators and the events were placed and staged down below. And they're still excavating it. Amazing. You can see even up there, you can see where they had boards and those holes in the wall, and you can see where there's remnants of where steps were, and people were sitting way up there on wooden scaffolding. I imagine that was a pretty scary thing to climb up there. Amazing. So this is the Forum in Palpatine Hill. I'm not Palpatine, Palatine Hill, which is around the corner. More later. This is where Rome happened, where people hung out, where people shopped, where people did their thing. Kind of a mob here, tour groups. I think it's fairly self-evident why they called it a hill, because it's on a hill and stuff just piles up. See, that's way, you can see that's way up there. Another thing. It's hard to get a good shot because there's so much stuff in the way. And then the ever-present arches to commemorate victories. Okay, this is the temple. There was a temple here. Try to imagine what it looks like. There's to the Vestal Virgins. So they had a big temple complex. And it was this whole thing you're seeing here was all the temple. And then down here on the end was their living quarters. And this excavation dates back to 800 BC. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it from this view. Let me go back around this way. There's something interesting about this. So this excavation has parts of that from 800 BC. If you look right there, that's the heating system. That's how they heated this. There was a floor across here. We can see that line going around. And that was where they would build fires, and the fire would cause the heat to spread across the floor. And then this is all part of the Palatine Hill complex. The greater Palatine Hill complex. Okay, so we're still not at the top of Palatine Hill yet, but this is where it was happening up here. This is, you know, the arches are giant. You can tell this is this area for the aristocrats to hang out in. But it's the architecture and the attention to it is very obvious up here. And just the scale is amazing. I have to say that when it comes to a value for your money with regards to tourism, and you know, we tour the Alhambra, we like to do this stuff, you know, the Sagrada Familia. For 14 euros a person, we've had 2 days of access to the Colosseum, to this, the Palatine Hill, and then on the other side, at some point we'll see the Forum. The Forum is just where kind of the common citizens hang out, and they had shops and whatnot. This is for the emperors. This was for the aristocrats. This was not for the common man up here at all. You can just see, I mean, imagine. That's 30 feet. I mean, that's just a place for somebody to walk around, a palace and whatnot. I'm sure there's a floor. And they just, this is their backyard. This is where they got to hang out. It is amazing, and it just is monolithic. And again, Roman concrete, wow. This stuff is 1,500 years old or more. Amazing. More from the top. And again, we're still not all the way to the top of Palatine Hill, but this is a big area, an arena of some sort. There's an art exhibit going on. It just looks like a bunch of weird crap. Sincerely, you'd be shocked at the stuff we've seen so far. This is called the Hall of the Capitals. Pretty amazing. Well, as always, anything with a view draws a crowd. And you gotta bow to your way to the selfie people and the mean seagulls that stand there pensively looking at everybody. This guy. Anyway, here's the overlook. We're at the top of Palatine Hill. You can see all of this. And then there's the Colosseum. So these people, that was their view in Rome, ancient Roman times, was the Colosseum, all the hustle and bustle below, all the activities. Of course, the rest of Rome was just shacks and whatnot. I imagine this is probably where Nero stood while Rome burned, fiddling, as they say. There's the Colosseum in the distance. Amazing. just to give you an idea of the scale, it's just really hard. This is the Vatican Museum, and it's just kind of amazing that all the popes, even with their religious bias, had the sense to not destroy this stuff and collect it. Literally, they actually paid private collectors over the years. After Napoleon in particular busted a lot of stuff up, and Napoleon, wow, what an idiot. Anyway, took stuff and busted things up, and they actually had lotteries and whatnot, other probably fish fries and whatever Catholics do, to gather money to replace this stuff and buy it and bring it back. And they've got it all set up. This museum is just majestic. That's the only thing I can say. There's just these statues are some of them are 1,500 years old. It all varies. We rented the audio guide. Actually, they were tombs. We ran the audio guide, but it's just too overwhelming. There's too many things. There's in the crowd. You have to just move. It's like you're almost like you're on a conveyor belt. It would be so wonderful to come here like on a private tour sometime after hours or before hours or whatever, where you could literally just see and look out the windows. The views from up here are magnificent. We have the Sphinx. Again, a lot of this stuff was moved and displaced with when Napoleon ransacked, rummaged through Europe. Yeah, it's Etruscan art. I don't know if you're picking it up here, but it's just really finely etched. This is from 540 to 530 BC. It's a battle scene. The Romans really revered the Etruscans as their predecessors and masters in a lot of things. Architecture and art. The artwork is amazing. The detail is amazing. We have the windows open here in the museum and the breeze. We had a quick thunderstorm. The breeze is just awesome. There's the cupola we climbed to the top of. A little nub at the top. At the base of it, there's an area you can walk around. There's 500 steps. Many of the steps very narrow, kind of leaning at an angle because you're in the domed part. It was very interesting. It's going to pick up the ceiling in this gallery is just covered with beautiful frescoes. Again, I'm in the tourist conveyor belt here because you just cannot stop. Just so many people. It's just maps of the world, the ancient world, besides. See how this is going. Tour groups are just overwhelming. Groups of 40 to 50 people. When they stop, you stop. When they go, you go. Still worth doing though. Not my favorite thing to be in crowds like this, but it's worth doing. But no regrets. This finishes up our tour of the Vatican. This rampway out of the museum is amazing. Michelle said it makes her tummy tickle. Make your tummy tickle, Michelle.
Looking down makes my stomach.
Made her tummy tickle. That's tickle tummy. I'm just gonna roll myself in a ball and just roll right on out of here. I'm tired. Me and Michelle have climbed everything you can climb. We've done it all today. We've been incredible tourists. It's like, get out of my way. I'm going fast. You better get out of my way. Down here it turns into steps. Oh yeah, and a little bit of advice. If you come to Rome and you have a kid in a stroller, don't come to the Vatican. Because if you do, you're an absolute idiot. Because you've got to drag the stroller up and down these steps and all over the place, and people are carrying them up giant flights of stairs. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. The kid gets absolutely nothing out of this except misery. Well, he did it in grand style. And that's the Vatican Museum. Absolutely a wonderful value for your money. Wonderful value. Okay, we just got done doing the Vatican tour. We are on this beginning of a long walk back to our apartment through the rest of the
Rome?
Well, past the St. Peter's Basilica. Our day today was. What'd you do? What all did you do today, Michelle?
Well, we went through the Vatican, the chapel.
Yeah, no, you went to St. Peter's Basilica first, and then you climbed, which is something that I don't know if I would recommend that to anybody or not. I mean, it was fun and exciting, but there was one point where I was just like, this is going to be really bad tomorrow. I just remember thinking I'm going to be feeling really bad because it's 500 steps, but they're these weird rampy steps to begin with, and then they turn into, once you're up on the outsides of the dome, they turn into this like it's tilted and you're walking sideways and
pie shape.
Yeah, and then you got to just go. There's a rope, and you literally like hang on to it as you go spiraling up, and then right when we get up there, what happens?
You're right there. It opens up into a big crowd.
Yeah, but it starts raining. It starts storming and raining while we're up there.
You better not be claustrophobic.
Yeah, because if you were claustrophobic, I do think you would have a difficult time dealing with it. It wouldn't be pleasant at all.
I was huffing and puffing.
Michelle was huffing. I was huffing and puffing too. I can feel it in my knees. But to me, the way I look at it, it's like riding my bike. I mean, if I'm riding up a hill, it feels the same way. You're walking.
And it was worth every step to see Rome from up there.
Yeah, we went. So we did that. It took us probably 40 minutes to get up there. I don't know. Maybe it was 40 minutes.
Longer.
It seemed like 40 minutes. But then our major accomplishment when we got to the top was we took a selfie. So that tells you how dorky and typically American, I guess, we are. But we weren't the only ones doing it, so I don't know if that's disrespectful or not. But as far as the Basilica, amazing to go see that. It was beautiful, and we'll be posting pictures. I'll be splicing pictures in through this video as well. But it was an amazing experience. We're not Catholic, but it's
still emotional.
I can imagine if you were Catholic that would be a pretty intense experience to see that.
Still get emotional. I did.
Well, we both like art, we like beauty, and they were having a service in there, and they were singing, chanting and stuff like that. So that was really cool. And then by accident, because again, we didn't do a tour with anybody, we didn't have a guide, which is not something I would necessarily recommend. But we treat treated this as a scouting trip for our travel group, and it was just going to just quadruple our expenses on everything to use guides. And guides have their place. Here it's hard though because it's kind of shady. There's guys they'll stop you on the streets and say, hey, skip the line, and you don't know who the heck they are, and they got, you're assuming they're going to take you somewhere and you're going to go on a tour with somebody. So I don't know. I found that to be off-putting. And they say snotty things to you, like we would go, no, we're going to wait in line. We'll enjoy the line. Okay, we're going to enjoy the line. We waited in line. We didn't skip the line. It wasn't a big line. We waited for maybe 40 minutes. The tours are, I don't know, they're totally annoying and nuisance.
Too big.
They're too big. They got 40, 50 people, and they're dead set on having, being together. And so as soon as they get separated, they'll just smash you and pass it, walk around you. I sound like I'm complaining a lot, but I don't mean to. But the museum was literally like you're on a walking conveyor. You could not stop. You could not stop because it was just a massive body of people moving through the Vatican Museum. But anyway, in St. Peter's Basilica, we walked around this corner because it was a quiet area. I thought, my gosh, we can actually stand up here without looking over the heads of 15, 20 people. And there's this little stairway, and it was kind of like wrapping around and went underneath the altar, and we went down there, and that was the crypt where they had all the popes, not all of them, but maybe there was all of them down there, but they only let you walk through part of it, and they were buried down there. They didn't allow any videotaping or pictures down there. Me and Michelle typically are pretty respectful. You'll know why I said that here in a second about not taking pictures when they ask us not to take pictures, because especially in a place like that, it's a burial place. Okay, it seems perfectly reasonable to me for them to say, look, don't be down here taking pictures of people's dead bodies. Anyway, but so we did. But excellent tour. And then as we came out of there, we saw the line. It was €8 a piece to climb up to the top of the dome, or €10 a piece if you took the elevator up. Partly, it took you up, and you only had 167 steps, but it was a rough 167 steps because it was where it was real tight and tiny to walk along for that. So we did that too. Then we had an hour to go to lunch. We had some Chinese food, which was very good. Had some dumplings.
Delicious.
It was delicious. Michelle was not keen at first, but I was grumpier than she was, and so I insisted, and it turned out to be a very nice meal. And then we came over for our tour of the Vatican. The Vatican Museum is amazing. Say what you will about organized religion, especially even the gargantuan giant that the Roman Catholic Church is, but they preserved all this stuff. If it hadn't been for some of these popes, this stuff would not be here. After Napoleon did so much damage, they brought a lot of it back, and it's just amazing. And you're walking through, you're seeing this stuff, Etruscan art, and like pots and amphoras from 500 BC. Just amazing how old some of this stuff was. But with that said, the capping glory is the Sistine Chapel. I'm telling you, something my whole life I've been fascinated with. I've watched shows about it. I've watched shows about Michelangelo, and I've watched shows about just the depth of the passion of it and what it means, and here you are, you walk in there and they're herding you in there, and they're yelling at you about not using your. I tried using my camera. I immediately got jumped on by a security guard and told to put my camera down. So I did. But Michelle surreptitiously took a selfie, which is what you would expect Michelle to do because she's a ne'er-do-well and a troublemaker, generally speaking. So she did that, and I was aghast. I almost felt like I should turn her in for doing something so horrible as that. Again, I don't understand why. It's because they're selling posters and crap, which is disappointing. This is a Catholic church, right?
Come on.
You're not going to let people take a picture of something they came halfway across the world to see because you can buy pictures in the lobby. I don't know. To me, that's a little classless. And I understand if it would be no flash photography. I get that. In this case, it was just they didn't want you taking pictures of their money-making project. So anyway, still amazing. We both sat there and cried. All the scenes, like on one side is the scenes from the Old Testament, and on the other side is the scenes from the New Testament. Jesus feeding the 5,000, Sermon on the Mount. etc.
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, that's up top. Creation of man is on the top, as you know, with the man touching the finger of God, or God touching the finger of man, I should say. But yeah, so we're tired and we got a long walk. We're back.
And tomorrow we're going.
Tomorrow we're going to go out into Tuscany. We'll have some footage of that for you. But we're back out in. Here, I'll turn this around so you can see. We're back out in St. Peter's Square. I'll let you get a look at this. I'll point to where we were when we did our climb. Okay, so here's the line. The churches in Rome are free. You know, they may ask for a donation, but they're free. If they're open, they're free. Some are closed for whatever reasons. But this is the line right here. And you can see where it goes. Now people that work these tours are going to tell you, you're going to be in line for 3 hours. That is not a 3-hour wait, as crazy as it sounds. That will move through an hour tops. And then they say
that's going through security.
They say at the end of the day. Yeah, and they have all the security gates. On the top, you see there's a ring. That is actually
Und was wollt ihr nachher?
All right, well, I've probably bored you enough about my ramblings.
For good jack.
And like I said, we're not Catholic, and you can come and like that, but the Vatican Museum has to be one of the finest museums in the world. What you say?
Oh yeah.
I thought it'd be okay. There's going to have some church stuff in there. Not at all. There was a really kind of shocking the pagan history of Rome was represented in that as well, which is kind of shocking. Right, and you're just going to be.
That's what's bad is you can't see it all. This is so much to look at.
Yeah.
Coming here during the Middle Ages, it was possible to see a different aspect. I mean, there were medieval houses, narrow streets. Now, there is a monumental place because the buildings on the right, together with the middle, the facade of the city hall that is in front of us, were reconstructed during the
if you're a Romeo and Juliet fan, I guess I am. I read the play in the 7th grade, and I was part of the play, and I enjoyed it. But this was where Romeo and Juliet was filmed. And this was Pope Pius's family. Pope Pius II's family owned this property, this they're building, and they actually rebuilt this town we're in. You can see all the scenes from the movie shot here. This is a town called Pienza, and it's pretty amazing because Pope Pius was traveling. He left this town when he was a child and went to Rome and then Switzerland for training and education. He was a significant person. His family was very significant. So when he came back, he was moving through the area and he stopped in to see his old town. And when he got here, it was really run down and busted up. So he got very upset by that. So he and his family decided they're going to tear the town down and rebuild it. So in the mid 13th century, they rebuilt this town brick by brick and made some improvements. This is their family's well that everybody's allowed to use. See, it's attached to the building, so it's right next to them. But they redid the whole town, and it's absolutely preserved. It's in perfect condition, and it looks exactly like it did in the mid 1400s. And it is immaculate. It is like a diamond is what it is. And I guess we got time to do this real quick. This is something else that makes it immaculate. Indulge my walking here. I got to get back to my tour group in about 3 minutes. But this is the view from their patio. And I don't, we've done Tuscany today. And if anything, these towns are amazing and they are shockingly beautiful. But what makes Tuscany beautiful is that right there. That is Tuscany. It is just sweeping vistas of beauty. That actually in the distance is a dormant volcano. And this place is amazing. And there's a little bar down there. I just tried grappa, which is a very strong liquor made from grape skins. And that bar, that's the view they have. That you step 2 steps out of the bar and you're at the wall. And you just have this beautiful view. And this is not the best vista, but we got to get back to the tour group. But this place is amazing. Would recommend coming to Tuscany to anybody.